from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop, and we are still, it annoys me now, right? We are still examining, I don't think we buried it. We're still examining the corpse of the Jodie Whittaker era, more specifically, the power of the Doctor, the power to forget all the major plot points you introduced in your absolutely failed run. Now, I want to be very clear, anybody watching this, if you like the Jodie Whittaker, and it's so stupid, I gotta say this every freaking time, if you like the Jodie Whittaker era, I am happy for you. Why does it bother you that I think it's shit, right? Why do I bother? I think it's absolutely awful, and I give specific criticisms against it. Although I have no, I was just, I'm recording this video 25 minutes after I wanted to, right? I had to open up, and then on Facebook, I just had this video of Carrie Lake. She's running for governor in Arizona. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, I'm planning coming out on Wednesday. It's Monday the 7th. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, she will be governor of Arizona. Hopefully, well, she'll have won anyway. Carrie Lake, fantastic speaker, right? Absolutely fantastic speaker. It was a video of her giving an interview to this Australian, I'll use the word journalist. It's the loosest stuff. It's fascinating. He kept asking all these questions, like, well, why do you believe the big lie? And she kept going, just kept going on, and she would not listen, wouldn't hear a single word that she said to her. Well, we have this evidence here, this, and so we want to make it fair for everybody, Democrats, Republicans. Oh, what? Are you just lying? It was the most insane, unhinged interview I've seen. But it wasn't actually, because we've all experienced it, right? We've all experienced, in the Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who universe when it started. And it wasn't very good, right? We had a very bad first season. We had, in the first episode, we were all kind of optimistic. It didn't seem so terrible. You can't really put your finger on it. It wasn't, there wasn't anything stand out as being absolutely awful in it, right? And then the second episode, I thought had potential to be quite good. I liked the special effects. Then you came into Rosa, and you weren't allowed to not like it, right? Then you were a racist. And I went along with that. I'm like, well, okay, it was nicely done. Okay. Then we had Arachnids in the UK. We injected all this insane anti-Trump politics into it. And look, guys, I know that many out there who really just don't like him. That's fine. The reality still remains. We had world peace and the best economy of our lives, right? It was only a couple of years ago. You remember that? Yeah. So, whatever. But this guy just nothing lands, right? So whenever you said you didn't like anything, it started with Arachnids in the UK, right? I wrote a letter to a podcast I used to listen to, don't listen anymore, and they just wouldn't listen to it, right? They were there like, no, because anytime anybody heard any criticism about the Jodie Whittaker era, all they heard was, I love Donald Trump because I hate black people, right? That's all they ever heard. It doesn't matter you didn't say it, right? It didn't matter. They can't respond to what you say. So that's why I'm late recording this video, because I just watched exactly the same thing happen. It blew my freaking mind. It really did. That's just the world we live in. I don't understand how you can say something and somebody just ignores it in favor of their narrative. Anyway, so that's essentially why we're here. That's essentially why we're still examining the corpse of the examining the corpse of the turgid Jodie Whittaker era, going over it, because, they spend a lot of time gaslighting us, and they're still doing it. Now they're doing it in a different way. They're like, oh, no, it was so successful. No, it wasn't, you bloody morons, right? They just released the script, an earlier draft of the script for The Power of the Doctor, and Jodie was supposed to regenerate onto a cliffhanger. They couldn't find anybody to regenerate into because they had failed. Nobody wanted to bloody touch it. Then Rusty Davis came along with this insane, I think, very audacious plan, which I'm very excited about. I know a lot of you are down on that. Look, I'm just going to give you my opinion, right? This is an Doctor Who opinion channel. I'm giving you my opinion. Sometimes my opinions will reflect reality, and sometimes my opinions won't, right? Sometimes they will, when I say in the future, when I was guessing things was going to happen, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I think it's going to be good, right? I'm very, very optimistic. But at the time of writing it, it was over. It had failed in every freaking way, right? It had ended Doctor Who from its most successful run of all bloody time. That is called failure, right? Failure. But again, me saying this to some people out there, they're just going, he says he doesn't like gay people. I'm like, what? I don't know. At no point did I get anywhere near that. I said I don't like Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who, right? If you confuse gay people with Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who, you need to go to a frickin' doctor, mate, okay? That's what you need to do. Anyway, I digress. We got some more articles to look at. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. We got some more articles to look at, and we're going to do that before we get into it. Like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are friggin' awesome. I mean, how awesome are they? They're just insanely awesome, right? Insanely awesome in every way, shape, and form. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Definitely do comment, by the way. I do reply to all your comments. I very rarely reply to replies, okay? I'm really bad at that, okay? YouTube, if you're listening to me, if you have a thing where you highlight the people I need to reply to, I will do that too, but I can't do it. I can't do it on my own, okay? Like, share, subscribe, comment. Sign up my Substack, okay? My Substack, as awesome as it is, so you hitting the subscribe button, my Substack is even more awesome. If you can possibly imagine such a thing, there's a expression in Jewish Jewish theology called kavayoko, as if it was possible, like saying the traditional argument, the traditional way it's used is God creates a rock so big he can't lift it up. As if he could! Kavayoko, right? So yeah, could it be any better than hitting subscribe? Yes! I have a email newsletter called Substack, and you can sign up to it. I send out eclectic crap on that daily. Or I send out my content on daily because they have daily content. But I send eclectic crap out on that on daily, all kinds of good stuff. It's free, baby. It's free. And again, as a Jew, I don't understand why I have to say anything after it's free, baby. It just, what? Really? That was any more convenient? But no, that's what it is. It's free. So sign up for that. I have a paid one. That's not free. I don't know why you sign up for that, but I'm glad that you do. Thank you very much. It's $5 a month, so you get to, it's like sending me a few digital coppers. A penny for the guy, sir. I'll be the guy in this case. Yes. So if you can sign up for that as well, that's just great. This month you're getting a lot of stuff this month on the paid one. They got a short story which I'm about third the way through writing. That's going to go in the season 14 anthology of Doctor Who stories. With the Capaldi's Doctor. That's really good. That's actually getting kind of cool. I finally worked out the plot for the middle of it, which was the bit that was really like gumming me up. So yeah, sign up for that. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Fine. Let's have a look at what the media has to say about the power of the Doctor. Are you feeling powerful? I don't know. Here we go. So this one, I have to tell you, I'm finding What Culture an interesting site, right? It's not like Screen Rant is uniformly awful, right? Screen Rant is like uniformly absolutely terrible. What Culture actually has a lot of interesting stuff on it. I'm fascinated by this because I feel it's somewhat of a normie's view of the Jodie Whittaker era in general, right? When I say normie Doctor Who fan, right? I understand. I am on one of the extreme wings, right? I feel I'm not on the extreme wing. I feel that people way more extreme than me. I was open to the idea of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. I've always been a little bit, progressive up until progressiveness came along with like melting 12-year-olds' bollocks off. I'm not up for that, mate. I'm not up for that. Call me a weirdo. But I'm just not. So I just got distracted by the thought of melting 12-year-old bollocks off. That just grabbed my attention. Anyways, but they're kind of a normie view, right? A normie view of Doctor Who. So they got, how was it? They got 5 ups and 7 downs. What are the ups? I will have to tell you, though. It was the most watchable episode of Doctor Who that Christian or Jodie Whittaker have ever done. Mostly because they minimised Jodie Whittaker, right? Really what I mean? And the set pieces are all quite good. It's the story linking them that really fell apart. And I thought the scenes and with the old doctors were nice. I like them all, right? I like them all. Anyway, let's see what they have to say about this. It's the end of an era. David Tennant, tag you're it. Thank God, right? Again, what more of an admission of failure than bringing David Tennant and Rusty Davis back? But people just don't ever admit it. I mean, it's incredible. Do you remember after the 2019 English general election where Jeremy Corbyn, thank God, I mean, this is why I love England, right? This is really why I love England, because the working classes of England have a nose that is 100% accurate, right? I always love who should run the country? The working bloody classes. They really, genuinely should. Not like the intelligentsia that say they speak for the working classes. Actually working class people, right? When they basically sent Jeremy Corbyn home, it was a huge failure. I think a lot of it was about his anti-Semitism, and the rest of it was about his absolutely failed policies that would do to England pretty much what Biden did to America. Although, in all fairness, in England, you didn't really need Labour's failed policies to destroy your bloody country. Sort of happening on its own, okay? Sort of happening on its own. How's that lack of Russian gas working out for you in Europe? Not so good, I think, right? Not so good. Put some more money into that war. Nothing can go wrong with that. That's going to be fine. Anyway, I digress. But that was like the hugest repudiation for politics I think I've seen in my lifetime, right? Even after that, they're like, no, we won the argument, we just lost the election. No, you lost the argument, therefore you lost the election. People will never, ever admit they're wrong, right? Ever admit they're wrong under any circumstances. And it's the weirdest bloody thing. People, we live in deranged times, mate. Deranged times. And how deranged are the times? I'm the same commentator. Right, this is the face of sanity today. That's how messed up things are. So let's look at this article. As I said, I digress. So we got 5 ups and 7 downs. Okay. Ooh, so I got 7 downs. Maybe maybe escorts should charge for that. Charge for your ups and your downs. Therefore, you have a rough idea how much you're going to be paid. I guess on going in as well. I don't know. I never use an escort service. Although, actually, okay, this is the last aside, right? This is the last aside before we get to the article. This one's funny. Okay. Remember when Jodie Whittaker was doing autographs at some convention in London, some comic convention, and also it was sort of like £200 for a picture and an autograph and said, how much would you get for that with a prostitute? Somebody researched it for me and actually sent me a price list in. You can get a lot for £200, okay? As it turns out, £200, well, I'll give you a good couple of hours for that. Anyway, I don't go. They wouldn't give you a good couple of hours with Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. Fine! Well, the day has arrived. After a controversial few years at the helm, Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker have fucked off home. Run has come to an end, okay? I like my reading of it a little bit better. So, what's the power of the Daleks? Fitting swan song for a Doctor Who that has been given the short end of a stick. How's it been given? How's it been given the short end of the fucking stick? Oh my God! The entirety of the media bent over backwards to say it was the greatest thing ever, including lambasting anybody and any criticism whatsoever as a fucking Nazi. If anybody pointed out how unbelievably unprofessionally shit it was. Really? The short end of the fucking stick. Oh, I would love the short end of the stick like Jodie fucking Whittaker. Are you out your bloody mind? Well, I guess this video, if my channel was monetized, would be demonetized now. Okay, but what the hell? Oh, I dream of having that short end of the stick. Bloody hell. Okay, well, you got first rant, you're 14 minutes in, you're not doing bad. Okay, here we go. Allowing 13 to go out on a high, okay. Yes, we rather think it was. I mean, was it fitting? No, a fitting finale would have been one that would be much, much worse and excruciating and really lent into everything that was bad about this era, rather than running away from it. Was it Instead, it was a finale that was not awful. Not agonizing to watch, right? Not agonizing to watch. Still reasonably unprofessionally written, I would say. Still reasonably the writing of this just isn't very good. Yes, we rather think it was. It was a mixed bag, make no mistake. Yeah, the fact it was a mixed bag made it the most watchable episode they ever did, rather than being a non-mixed bag of complete shite. Make no mistake, an overflowing one that 3 major villains and a bunch of companions, a few freelancers. Who are the freelancers? And who could possibly forget a whopping 9 doctors? Whitaker, Tennant, Martin, Bradley, Davison, Baker, McCoy, McGann, and technically Dwan. I guess so. But despite the overstuffing we've come to expect from Big Chibs, he manages to spin his plates better than he has in the last few years, only dropping a few this time. Okay, fuck that, we all agree, right? We're all agree. That's factually correct. Indeed, the story has certainly has drawbacks, but when the power of the Doctor is running with momentum, it gives the absolute highlights of the Whitaker-Chibnall era. No, it avoids the highlights of the Whitaker-Chibnall era, right? It gives the highlights of the Matt Smith era. The opening train heist thing was directly from Moffat Matt Smith era, right? It was just, a lot of it was Doctor Who karaoke for better Doctor Who. So join us one last time. Oh, if this was the last fucking time, I would suck your cock, right? Oh my God, I wish this was the last time we had to talk about this. As we see out the 13th Doctor, just out, go away, out, down spot. Dan has had enough. I think that's enough. That's one of the more realistic things. All the weird thing is he gets on the TARDIS and he forgets he doesn't have a house anymore. He's like, oh, don't matter. I'll go and stick with me, ma'am. I thought his mum was dead. Whatever. The episode drops us straight into the action with a cold opening, which sees 13 and company attempting to thwart the high-speed space train heist. It's a fun set piece. It is a fun set piece, I agree. Only marked by Jodie Whittaker and Bandit Kill. But it does fall back into old habits by once again making the Cybermen look like chumps as they're gunned down by a security crew. I was actually okay with that. You know, I like the regenerating Cybermen. I thought that was kind of fun. But again, the story that was stitched into, not so much. During the action, Dan is shot in the face by a Cyberman, something that should kill him in 2 separate ways, death by suffocation and death by, being shot in the face. Yeah, they're both of it. I thought he was just hitting his visor was hit by some space debris or something. Again, see, here's what happens, right? You know, it's like your brain fills in things that should be there. And I accidentally wrote a better script. It's like, I improved it. Oh, my mistake. But remarkably, he shrugs it off because he's done with nearly dying. How this Doctor hasn't killed all the fam, all her friends, or whatever they want to call them, that is the biggest leap of logic for the whole thing. He has some fun pretending to drive a space train, at which point he decides that he has peaked in life and he opts to pack it in 10 minutes into the episode in what is possibly the most unceremonious companion departure of all time. Clearly you haven't seen Doctor Who. The most unceremonious companion departure of all time would be in the Faceless Ones. Who left in the Faceless Ones? Who was that? That would have been Ben and Polly? Who left in the Faceless Ones? Or was it? Yeah, it must have been Ben and Polly, because they went straight into getting Victoria next time. So it must have been Ben and Polly, and she was kind of replaced by wait, did Ben and Polly leave at the end of the last one? I don't remember. And I think they left at the end of the Faceless Zone. What about Victoria? She also had a weird ending, didn't she? I can't remember. There's been a few, but okay, whatever. I digress. The Doctor is so furious that Dan has ruined the flow of a big finale episode that she doesn't even say goodbye. I didn't notice. even notice. See, that's the thing. You know, have you ever read the Alan Moore comic book Watchmen? They say, when you read it, you can always find something new because it's so layered. There's so many new things in there. Same with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. There's always new layers of shit that you find. Like, really? It's incredible. Then again, this is fitting given that the two have only shared a handful of scenes since they joined the TARDIS. There's no shaking the feeling that this is a little weird to remove one companion an hour before the entire era comes to go. Well, there wasn't any time to put anybody in, was there? I mean, in all fairness, I mean, hang on, I've just pressed something on it. I don't know if I just switched off the video. That was really weird, right? For me, the screen went blank. Maybe. Look, if it's not there, I'll just edit that bit out, I think. Anyway, I'm still digressing. Don't join the TARDIS. There's no there. The scene itself isn't so bad as ever. John Bishop and Mandip Gill have some of the stronger chemistry we've seen in recent years. Well, that's not really a good thing to compare it to, right? Strong chemistry. There was no chemistry between anyone because nobody was real, right? Nobody was a real character. The only chemistry we got was like Captain Jack, for example, because it was built in. You come to love a character, and they're gone before you even knew what you had. Farewell, Dan. What a shame. Oh yeah, I forgot he attacks the Sontarans with a wok. Right? Yeah, it is one of his more forgettable moments. His mum and dad is alive. They were in Doctor Who Flux, as I recall. Down. So the first one was down. Second one was down. A downplayed reunion. What's the downplayed reunion? It's tempting to give the long overdue inclusion of some classic companions and up, but we just can't. Why not? That was the only good bit on it. I mean, really? Oh, not the only good bit, but that was good. Right? I mean, look, Janet Fielding, it's just like, I can see why you quit acting, darling. Their presence is entirely wasted here, as it should have been its own episode. No, but the way Christian will write things is just pour as much into it as humanly possible to distract you from the lack of plot structure, right? Just compare the reunion between these two and 13 to that of Sarah Jane and Ted. Well, again, come on, really? I mean, that was a great episode. School reunion, a freaking excellent episode. But your building blocks aren't really the same. The relationship between Tom Baker's Doctor and Sarah Jane was just magical. I mean, you had something different, but very, very close with the Seventh Doctor and Ace. But I don't think so much with Tegan and the Fifth Doctor, right? And it was like, this world-shattering moment. I mean, I love the bit where Liz Sladen sees the TARDIS for the first time. That was brilliant, right? I want to rewatch that episode now. Okay, that was a really genuinely brilliant episode. Where were we? And you'll see just how wasted the storytelling potential was here, with Ace and Tegan barely sharing the screen with the Doctor at all, which probably made their bits better. The hint of the story is there, trying to break out with Tegan's bitterness and Ace's unresolved conflict with the Doctor, where even treated to all of 1 second of Yaz's realizing she's replaceable, because she's so replaceable. Something that you would think would be a good thread to run with the entire one within the story, where she bows out of the show. Yeah, would have been, wouldn't it? But no, I guess not. The classic companions aren't given the best material to work with here. Don't get us wrong, the scenes are surprisingly genuine. Sophie Aldred certainly puts in the stronger performance of the two. Well, again, she's a real actress, right? I mean, she's like Janet Fielding, kind of struck me as somebody who fell into acting for a while before landing on something else, right? As expected. But Janet Fielding, we hate to say, feels a little off. Sacrilege, we know. Not really. It was what happened. That isn't to say that the scenes are completely without merit, however. We enjoyed Ace going old school with the baseball bat and explosives. Yeah, me too. And the two taunting the Master was also fun, mocking his weird cat phase in the classic Doctor Who serial, The Survivor. Oh, I read something really mind-blowing last night, and I've got to look at it. In Survival, I think the guy who's cleaning the car at the beginning, when he gets back to Perivale after being in Cat World or whatever it's called, there's the neighbour there bears a striking resemblance to a young Jackie Tyler. So it wouldn't be nice if that's one thread that takes you all the way through. But you got to look at try and find it on the internet, because it's the person looks just like a young Jackie Tyler. Who plays Jackie Tyler? Camille Coduri, right? Muscles of fine. So we got 2 downs, 1 up. A muscle performance. I will agree by Jiggery. I will agree with this. Yeah, it was a good performance. It was the only time he was really like the Master, right? I would like to see him come back now. Would I like to see anything from this era? Not really. But please say that both Jodie and Mandip rounded out one of their strongest performances to date. Well, not really. They just stayed out of sight. Right. Okay, Jodie, we want you to put this bag on your head. Why? Oh, just to make your acting even better. Oh, I keep on. Oh, must be character acting. Yes, it is. Yes, today you're acting as a character of a lump of wood, right? A plank of wood. What a wonderful character you indeed are. But the power of the Doctor, the MVP award, has to go to Sacha Dhawan, who finally nails his Master in his presumably final regular appearance. Yes, I do agree. And also I think the plot was actually something the Master would do, right? This sounds like it was much more masterly than, anything we've seen before. And one thing that has been abundantly clear throughout his run is just how much fun Dhawan was having with the role. That has been true. But sometimes the manic energy has bordered on a little too much. You know what I'm going to say, right? Sacha Dhawan and Angelina Mohindra, Rani from Sarah Jane Adventures, and his wife, right, who is freaking gorgeous, right? I just like when you said just absolutely freaking gorgeous. They did a behind the sofa thing on season, gonna say 7. Is it 7 or 8? I think season 8. The first Master season. It must have been season 8, right? Series 8 from 60. No, that'll be from 71, I guess. Must be 70. Yeah. So they do a behind the sofa thing, which is when you see people watching the episode of Doctor Who and they're commenting on it. It must take them hours. The Peter Davison, Janet Fielding, and Sarah Sutton group, right? They how long is each episode? Like an hour and a half. So a season is what 3, 6. That must be a full couple of days worth of shooting. Bloody hell, that sounds a lot. Anyway, they were watching the Masters debut season, right? I want to say that taking part, they're doing that and watching that significantly improved his performance, right? I that's what I think. That's my take on it. And I think he was very good at this. Okay. One thing, he's having a lot of fun. This time over, there's a slightly more restrained and refined performance, and it's a delight. It's a shame to see the long-awaited use of the Tsarist Russia as a setting fall wayside of the busy story. Well, everything falls by the wayside of busy story, but I am convinced beyond convinced the whole Rasputin dance, the Boney M scene, was why he was Rasputin, and that's the only reason. But I think it still worked. I like the Rara Rasputin thing, and I like the Cyberman turning to the Dalek going, what is this? I thought that was all good, right? However, this incarnation is perfect Rasputin. Whether he's hypnotizing the Tsar's wife, badly photoshopping himself into paintings for absolutely no reason at all, or bopping to Boney M. Between this and the Saxon incarnation, it's canon that the Master's playlist is fire. Yeah, I tend to agree. As well as playing a Russian mystic, the Master also tries his hands as a seismologist, which is that whole seismology thing was just dumb. It's all dumb. I'm sorry. I keep subdividing between dumbness. No. Oswald tries his hand at seismology in a particular fun scene that sees him performing in a lecture room with miniaturized antennas. Now, I want to say that the tissue compressed victims of Sashamon's Master are too small, right? I think they were much scarier when they were like, about 8 inches tall, right? They just felt scarier. He even enjoys a brief stint as Doctor 13.5. More on that later, where he absolutely rocks with the cross-dressing. I don't think it's cross-dressing. Take a bow, Mr. Dewan. I'm going to agree with that. That's a fair up. A waste of Sideman, again, yeah, and how they're back, and it makes no sense, and Ashdad just being clone. This was a great character. I mean, this is a really clever, interesting design. And I really wish they did more with it, right? And I find it that's much more frustrating when you get like glimmers of of something that's really going to be good, and it's just not, right? It's just wasted in a sea of mediocrity. The Sidemen playing second fiddle to the Master and Daleks. I think the Daleks play second fiddle to the Sidemen, frankly. With more of a name iconic duo. These absolute titans of the Doctor Who Rose Gallery are once again sidelined in this episode, being forced to share a story with the Master and the Daleks. Okay, it's the same criticism over and over again, reworded, right? Reworded. What a waste. Well, is it a waste? Because look, let's be fair, Chris Chibnall couldn't write anything legible or watchable, right? It'll be awful. We also see the return of Ashdad, the most interesting thing to come out the Cybermen in recent years, only to revealed to be a mindless clone of far more dramatic original. He does, however, get a fairly badass action sequence, not something that often happens in Doctor Who, which does soften the blow a little. Agreed. Okay, I think the action things were done pretty well. I think that Rusty Davies should definitely have Jamie Magnus Stone's the director's name on his Rolodex. Also, the woman who directed Eve of the Daleks. I think she did a solid work on that. I really did. After Tegan falls for the Master's not so subtle ploy of bringing a cyber Russian doll into unit, it's up to her and Kate Lethbridge Stewart to thwart the most pathetic invasion of all time. Well, it's one of the most pathetic thwartings of all time as well, isn't it? Oh, thwart me. How's thwarting not become a kink? I don't know. You know what? That's what we need from a Doctor Who adversary. An adversary that has a sexual fetish for being thwarted. This is why I don't make Doctor Who. While Kate plays distraction by undergoing a conveniently slow conversion process. That's true. Tegan jumps down a mine shaft of a skyscraper, presumably into the industrial strength trampoline, and emerges in the basement a little bit dusty. Again, you're pointing out all the things I didn't notice. I forgot about, didn't notice. Then she zaps the Cybermen, zaps all the Cybermen by unplugging an Ethernet cable, right? Yes, as a cyber arm came through the wall to stop her. It really was the level of plotting you expected to see from whatever that interactive live show was. I don't know what it's called. Now that the Wi-Fi is down, the Cybermen self-destruct out of pure rage, because we all know the only thing stronger than the power of love is the frustration of broadband issues. That's true. Tegan then collapses and the entire building, killing every single unit employee except her and Kate. All that happened, right? All that actually happened. Yes, that's true. Who then? This article's brilliant. This is pure gold, right? Who then takes a brisk jog from the top of the building of a skyscraper just in time to escape. Yeah, this B plot doesn't really need to be here. Well, nothing needs to be there. But we're not done yet, because the C plot is even more pointless. That must be the Daleks, right? Down Graham O'Brien's wacky volcano adventure. That is weird, right? The whole thing, that is just strange. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I liked him with Ace. I thought his interplay with Ace was just right. They're about the right age for each other. And I do like his the way He kind of like, a little bit of charm. A little charm goes a long way. When Ace goes, I'm Ace. And he's like, I bet you are, darling. I don't think he actually said that, but I wish he did. In my headcanon, he did. And you thought the cyber plot was half-baked. This episode sees the return of the Daleks. And boy, this is a weak outing for them. That is true. We start off with a very promising start, however, with a mysterious message from a traitor Dalek. This Dalek infiltrates the TARDIS, incredibly secure spaceship where that's impenetrable unless you're a Dalek Jejun, Kasalvin, Weeping Angel, or Eternal, or other... or other than that, totally safe. Well, it was much better before Chris Chibnall got his hands on it. We're intrigued to see what could have possibly caused this Dalek to grow a conscience and why the Dalek race is in danger. Unfortunately, neither of these points are explained. No, it's not. Anybody always explains so quickly. And this article is tearing it apart. I'm sorry. This is just tearing it apart. Then I explain. As before the Dalek gets a chance, he becomes the guest of honor at the annual Dalek barbecue, volcano barbecue, and is frazzled to death by his in his shell, and we'll never know why. Later, maybe they brainwashed him to be a traitor. I know. Later, Ace is dropped off to deal with the Daleks and bumps into none other than Graham O'Brien. Who cares? Doesn't make sense. At no point is it explained why Bradley Walsh has ended up in the core of the volcano in Bolivia. I forgot it was in Bolivia, right? All by himself with absolutely no plan and nothing but his trusty psychic paper. How did he get that psychic paper? Did the doctor just give it to him? Meanwhile, the plot contrivances... speaking of plot contrivances, why does Chibnall at no point explain why Vinder just pops out a wormhole and gets sent back again? Why is there even a wormhole there? He does explain that, right? But it goes so quickly you can't follow it. What's going on with that is that Vinder is tracking the little black girl who was stolen from the train by the Cyberman, who turns out to be the big kind of ball of hair thing that has superpowered energy. Something like that, right? But he's tracking that. They do actually mention that, and then his ship blows up, and the Doctor has to fix it, right? Okay. Where are we up to? Why he pops that belt back in? Why was there even a wormhole there? I thought his ship generated the wormhole, didn't it? I might just be my mind filling in blanks, much better than Chibnall's mind is. Anyway, the Daleks decide to take a break from the world-ending superplot to grab a cup of tea, leaving just one Dalek on watch. Graham and Ace quickly dispatch this lone sentry and follow the Daleks' plan, world save, happy days, to say this plot makes no sense is an understatement of the century. Well, no, it was stopped by the Doctor firing the Cyberman planet at the volcanoes and turn them into like sculptures or something. An intriguing master plan. This is still kind of the same up, right? You're still kind of doing the same thing. Oh, I am never getting to the second article or the third. Forget it. Bloody hell, I'm 40 minutes in. This episode may be flaky around the edges, but to its credit, it's remarkably solid where it matters. And that's the central plot concerning the Doctor, Yaz, and the Master. The big threat of the episode is the Master's insane plot to force the Doctor to regenerate into him. It's outrageously silly, but also incredibly in character for the Master attempt something as nutty and arrogant as this. I agree! I totally agree, right? The logistics behind it feel iffy and underexplained, as does everything in the episode. But we'll give it a pass as it explores new territory with this long-running foe. So this is actually kind of an ongoing trope of the of reviews for The Power of the Doctor, in that they try and be positive, but they end up tearing it apart. Right? Shit. The plan is actually a roaring success for a time, meaning that Sacha Dhawan has technically now played an incarnation of the Doctor after sporting 13 stand-up standard get-up for a bit. He raids the TARDIS wardrobe for a second costume, and it's a bold look featuring trademark items of clothing from multiple Doctors. Why was did Jodie not do a photo shoot in that costume? I mean, it's really annoying, right? If this era was successful, that would have been an action figure, but it wasn't successful. And again, I feel bad for people who like the bloody era, right? I really do. Multiple Doctors, a recorder, a bow tie, a question mark sweater, and of course a decorative vegetable. It's a real treat paying homage to the show's long history. Lastly, the episode provides passable reason for the Doctor to now have degenerate into Ten's face, though we're sure this will probably be will be explained next year. Yeah, no, I don't think he degenerated, right? I think it's the next Doctor, and it seemed to be like something was imprinted on that regeneration from above. Ergo, the clothes changing. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. I was just blown off. I was just distracted for a minute by the big ball of hair thing of which again down Chibnallisms one last time. Lots of Chibnallisms in this. Yes, Chibnall still writes like Chibnall. Yeah, I heard, and again I don't have any confirmation of this, but his new job is teaching writers how to be showrunners. I mean, really? That sounds. I mean, why isn't Boris Johnson teaching people how to be prime ministers? He didn't seem to be do that great a job. Okay, Jeremy Corbyn to run Labour. I'm going to do a course on how to run Labour into the ground. Where are we up to? We could split these into their own individual down entries, but this will give the episode the worst rating than it frankly deserves. I'm going to agree with them there, right? I do agree with them there. So, for one last time, we'll do a whistle tour of the Chibnall bingo card. Overstuffed cast, check. Rush fill despite extended time, check. Plot lines abandoned mid-episode, check. Teleporting characters, check. Wildly inconsistent gun morals, check. Weirdly unacknowledged collateral damage, check. Stiff and cringeworthy dialogue from baddies, check. Up from everybody. Everybody. We have a bingo card. Congrats. This is supposed to be a positive review. Congrats to the lady in the back. Please don't forget to collect your hamper at the end of the night. And just for fun, 3 contenders for the most Chibnall line of the episode. Firstly, come from Tegan, who has just been given an electric shock. Ouch! You gave me an electric shock. That is a very Chibnall line. Yes. And from this one from the Doctor, upon spotting a child tethered to a planet, the Cyberman has tethered that child to this planet. How'd you write that? It's unbelievable. And lastly, one from Yaz, who misses the sledgehammer-size hint that the Cybermen now follow a master. Doctor, what does it mean by that? It feels good to never have to repeat these comments again. Our Chibnall Doctor who Groundhog Day is finally over. I don't know. It feels like I'm just looking at this stuff forever. A treat from the past. So if you're looking at the screen right now, you see Paul McGann. Apparently, his head and his body are different, right? Apparently, he could only record his head on green screen, and they just moved it onto somebody else's body in the. I guess it's the Night of the Doctor costume. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it looks like Night of the Doctor costume. This is a big up. In fact, we will say this is a double up. Fair enough. We're allowed. This is the double up we're allowed. Does it say it? 5? This should be 5 and 4 then, if it's a double up, all right? Not only is this seen as shining highlight of the episode, yeah, because it doesn't have Jodie Whittaker in it, and people who could actually have some weird aptitude to play Doctor Who, but also one of the greatest moments in the Chibnall era. There aren't that many to choose one of them. Yes, this episode saw returns of the classic Doctors, and it's wonderful. To be clear, though, it was absolutely ripped off from Paul Cornell's book Revelation, I think. Time We're in Revelation, where you have like this internal mindscape of the Doctor with past Doctors living in there. It was absolutely ripped out from that. right? Yes, this episode also returned some classic Doctors, and it was wonderful. David Bradley reprised his role as Doctor Uno. Peter Davison returned as Five, and for the first time since Children Need Time Crash. Not true. He was in the Muppets, the Muppet Show in the what is it? The Millennium Dome, right? Colin Baker's and Vesta McCoy made their New Who debuts, and remarkably, Paul McGann appeared in an actual episode of Doctor Who for the first time ever. Oh, I guess so, right? A fact that should not be true, but sadly is. I mean, I would call his movie an episode of Doctor Who. The way the scene is executed, with prior incarnations serving as a manifestation of the Doctor's dying consciousness after she is forcibly ejected from her body, is a perfect way to honour these sorely underrated Doctors. I would agree, right? Yeah, I think that's fair. I would totally agree. In a way that feels more like a tribute than fan service. I would agree to that too, actually, yes. The moment isn't overblown or drawn out. Yeah, and it hit our cold hearts just right. I guess so. The precious seconds we get with these Doctors gives each of them a moment to shine, with Eight's refusal to wear a work robe and Shevin chastising him for being a particular highlight. And while we're here, a message for the BBC: give McGann a special, you cowards. It's not BBC. It's Russell T Davies. That could happen. I'm expecting some kind of announcement this week, right? Again, this video's going out on Wednesday, so the new Doctor Who magazine comes out on Thursday. And they said there's something happening at that point, right? I thought they were, like, revealing the new logo. Apparently not. To top it all off, 5 and 7 get bonus scenes with their respective companions. 2 scenes that weren't needed but were more welcome. That's true. Having these 2 couples share the screen again is a cool in these callback laden exchanges was really special, and we're glad that the episode found time for them. Brief as they were. Well, again, you know, this is what they try to. This is all they really had to get people to watch it, I think. Number 4, Up, sticking the landing for once. I don't think, if they're going to talk about Jo Martin sticking the landing, we don't find anything out about her Doctor, right? Nothing at all. I don't even know if she is a Doctor. I don't know what the hell's going on with it. I think this is all a fake reality created by the toy maker to imprint his evil plan on the Doctor at some point, right? At the end of the episode. This is going to be a shock to the system, but we're going to ask you to sit down, prepare yourself. Ready? Here we go. The episode has a well-staged, satisfying resolution that isn't a total Deus Ex arse pull, right? Doctor Who gets with the times and has a resolution of the episode put in motion by Dr. AI, powered by machine learning, installed via a blink and you miss it. Blink and you still couldn't possibly miss it electric shock, and activated in the event of the Doctor's death. The AI coordinates her extended fam to move and moves to outsmart the Master by fooling it with Jo Martin's hologram. And how did Jo Martin's hologram look solid where everybody else looked like hologrammy, right? That made no sense. What? I don't need to say that made no sense. That's pretty much implicit in saying it was Christian was Doctor Who. Using the 13 users of TARDIS with a full crew, as seen in Journey's End, to bring Disco Planet forward 100 years in time. What Disco? Oh, we're talking about the Cyberman planet thing to 2022. Unsurprisingly subtle centenary tie-in. Oh, that's what they were doing. I didn't notice that. Right. So that she can harness this sentient energy and transmute the erupting volcanoes into synthetic matter. Well, you know, they've really missed the trick then. Why couldn't they had, the BBC start broadcasting in the episode to talk about the new planet that's appeared or something? Like, it would have been a minute scene and you would have had the birth of the... Yes, I'm fucking stupid. It makes me want to, like, really? You actually could have put the scene straight. Oh, God. Breathe. Breathe. Okay, fine. Where are we up to? So we can understand it, blah, blah, blah. It's a multi-step resolution that actually utilizes elements introduced early in the episode and successfully flips every element of the Master's elaborate plan back in itself. Dare we say, this may just be the most Doctor-like solution of the era. Yeah, I mean, again, Jodie Whittaker never got a Doctor moment, right? Because she can't do it. Finally giving 13 a chance to outsmart a foe using tools at disposal. Some agency at long last. You took too long, Chibs. You took long enough, Chibs. Last episode, right? I mean, I would say having to explain your stick of bloody salary and wait until the last moment to do that's one thing. But having to wait till your main character in any way possesses any of the traits of your main character till the last episode may not have been the best idea. Down, death by sentient doom laser. Yeah, it really was. Right? Of all the ways the Doctor go out, this is the most anticlimactic. I guess so. Oh, look, it looked kind of spectacle-y, right? I think. The power of the Doctor seems to blaze through its final act and have 13 save the day, only to realise somewhere along the line that it forgot to kill 13. Enter the climactic scene on the disco planet in which... Why are they calling it the disco planet? I don't understand. In which the Doctor Doctor convinces the sentient energy beam child to go down and destroy everything in sight. The episode at this point has not nearly done enough to explain what on earth this thing is. No, of course not, or how it works, and we're not afraid to admit. We're still not entirely sure. Of course, you're not entirely sure. It's written by Chris Bloody Chibnall. I mean, how many times do you need to see his Doctor Who to understand what his Doctor Who is? It is Bizarreville. It comes as a surprise when that this underdeveloped afterthought is ultimately kills 13 after the Master flicks a switch and swings a 50-foot planet destroying beam at the Doctor. We understand that you can't have the protagonist of a family show get bisected by a big old laser, but it would have would it killed them would it have killed them to at least give Jodie a few tasteful cuts and bruises as per normal protocol? No, that's violence against women. You're not allowed to do that, right? That's why this era of Doctor Who's been so freaking boring, right? You're not allowed to show women or black people or brown people, anybody who's not a white male, not be perfect in every way, right? You're not allowed to do that, and if you do, you get in trouble. The whole scene feels rushed for such a pivotal moment. The whole thing is rushed. It has no thematic significance whatsoever. 9 goes out saving the woman who saved him. 10, the vain hero goes out saving a single insignificant man. Wilf isn't insignificant. It's my honour, Wilf, he said. Will you shut up? And 11, the old man in the young man's body is the only one to go out of old age. 13, big laser. You see our point? Yes, your point is this was shit. Yes, I know that's your point. It's been my point for 5 fucking years, mate, okay? If only they had already planted the seed for a more satisfying end, could the false degeneration from Master Doctor have gone wrong, instead allowing 13 to return, but at the cost of degenerating even further? We thought that, yeah, absolutely. Look, that once you force a regeneration, you can hold it back for a few minutes. But no, you're going to regenerate. It's going to happen, right? It's like, have you ever tried to stop peeing in midstream? It's not easy. It's not easy. I don't think they should have used that as an analogy, though. Although that would have explained it. We thought that that's where this story was going, to be honest. Yeah, but, you know, you're using logic and reason. Don't use logic and reason with Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. You will always be disappointed. The cause of death aside, every moment from Yaz carrying the Doctor, carrying the dying Doctor back to the TARDIS, that was disgusting. Okay, I hated that. That was the Thasmin moment, and the reason I hated that is because it's an expression of Thasmin, which is like the two characters these two women getting together romantically. But whenever you have like LGBTQ weirdos, and I'm not saying gay people are LGBTQ weirdos. I'm saying weirdos that happen to use LGBTQ whatever as a platform. It's something they want to scream about, right? Whenever they want to display romantic love, it's always infantilized, right? It's eroticized and infantilized at the same time. That's what her carrying back to the TARDIS was. It was weird, right? Absolutely weird. Where are we up to? The moment of her eventual regeneration is perfect. It was actually her best moment. Okay, I'm actually going to give them that to a certain extent. 13 has a little wobble about her imminent death. She's entitled to, yeah, because she's going to rip off David Tennant because that's all they know how to do. But like a true Doctor, she put on a brave face and embraces the next stage of her life with open arms. Literally, uniform, no one's gonna replace me. Oh, here comes Russell Davis. At the end of a life of danger and adventure, there was no adventure for her. She chooses to spend her final moment sharing an ice cream with Yaz. Hated it. And the view of planet Earth from orbit. It's simple, but the scene is remarkably touching, and it's a perfect bookend to the relationship between the two, which once felt false, but now culminates in a moment that feels truly earned. You know what? I'm going to give that to them as well. Yeah, I think it's fair. After Yaz has dropped off, she is greeted by Graham and Dan, who recruit her into the support group for ex-companions. This idea is really lovely. Given the closure is not only 13th companions, but companions of the past too. With one final cheeky round of cameos, we get the inclusion of Joe, Mel, and even Ian Chester. That was nice too. Okay, that was nice too. One of the original companions. The scene also features an empty chair, and we'd like to think it represents Elizabeth Sladen, Bernard Crimmins, and all the other companions who are no longer with us. It's a flawless scene. I won't say flawless because it had Jodie Whittaker in it. Overflowing with optimism. Yes, this actually was one of the first times. This Doctor who keeps talking about being, hope, optimism, like these weird buzzwords. You know what it's like? There used to be this Saturday Night Live sketch with, what's the name? From Parks and Rec. I can't remember her name. But they're like very dolled up there, and these women like are very sexualized, but they're selling like this piece of crap like luxury, and they sell it in a really bad way. Go luxury, elegance, beautifulness. They say these are. That's kind of how Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who was like hopefulness, kindness, and Jodie Whittaker should have said the next line, which they did on Saturday Night Live, where they go, "We're not porn stars anymore." Overflowing with optimism. Meanwhile, 13 emerges alone from the TARDIS, stepping out atop the Durdle door, which they got in trouble for. The beautiful cliffside view. Her final words are brief but perfect. Right then, Doctor Whoever I'm about to be, tag you're in. I agree with you, right? I think, again, too little, too late. But they finally wrote Doctor Who. They didn't make me want to vomit in my own mouth. That's quite impressive. This is such an optimistic baton to pass, with humour and turbid demeanour that's so characteristic of this incarnation. We love it. This Doctor wasn't had no chirpy humour or character. He was just an idiot, just an annoying idiot, and we didn't love it. As 13th theme swells, we're treated the most beautiful regeneration shot in the show's history. Agreed. No big speeches, no explosions, no crashing TARDIS, and no bombastic Latin chorus. It's just, it's the most gentle, calm regeneration we've seen in New Who. It really sets itself apart. You know what? I'm going to agree with that praise as well. The trouble is you can't see the good because it's Jodie Whittaker. And she's very, very, very bad. These final 10 minutes give an example of Chibnall Widow, composer Singun Akaglona, and director Magnus Stone firing on all cylinders. Agreed. really nailing the emotional payoff for such a moment. There was no emotional payoff for me because I don't like these characters. They go out not with a whimper or an anticlimax, but with a simple shining moment of glory. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to call that. Down! The concerning sign! Fuck off! The concerning sign was Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall destroying Doctor Who to the point that this had to happen to remind everybody why they like Doctor Who after 5 years of utter lecturing, boring shite. Right, a concerning sign. That's right, we're giving David Tennant, the diamond darling of Whovian fandom, a down. We kitted up the riot gear. Come and fight us. We're not fighting. I was just telling you, you're assholes, right? When the episode aired, we weren't exactly sure who the outgoing Doctor was going to regenerate into. Was it going to be Shooting Gatwa, the newly announced Doctor, or David Tennant, or David Tennant was set to reprise his role for the 60th anniversary next year? We're holding out hope for Gatwa because we don't like white men. And what we got on Sunday night was the arrival of David Fultenant, right, who is confirmed to be the next incarnation of the Doctor, with Gatwa now officially labelled as the 50th. That's true. In a limited run with the old 1-2 punch of Rusty Davies and Tennant, objectively a bad thing. No, again, Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker were objectively a bad sign. They were objectionable and objectively bad. Yes. No, the people who were actually very good in it made Doctor Who more popular than it's ever been bloody before. Maybe not, right? Maybe that's not a bad sign. Absolutely not. We've seen these two capable of producing pure girls together. And yet this doesn't sit right to us. It's something that seems to go against the very fabric of the show. A show that has always been about change. It hasn't always been about change! You ignorant fucking cunts! Oh my god! These stupid buzzwords! Oh, it's all about change. It's not all about change. It has change built into it, and Doctor Who should always be on the cutting edge. Yes, I agree with you there. But the cutting edge now is looking backwards a bit. Why? Because the forward we've gone for the last 5 to 7 years has been in the wrong direction. Have you noticed the ratings, right? That's not the direction you want to go in. You want to go in the direction where they go up, not down. Up, not down. God, you fucking morons. Oh, I tell you, none of these people have problems that couldn't be solved with their heads being held underwater for 10 minutes. That's all I'm going to say. Don't do that. No, that's not a threat. That was a joke. That's not a threat to violence. Although, anyway, as I digress. There's something that seems to go against the very fabric of the show. What about having the Doctor be a authoritarian moron, right? How didn't that go against the fabric of the show, right? Honestly, and that's who this Doctor, who the Jodie Whittaker was. He was somebody who followed the crowd. She wasn't iconoclastic, and she was an idiot more than anything else. Doesn't that go against the fabric of the show? She should have been an anti-authoritarian, and she was a super-authoritarian, right? And an idiot. New ideas, new stories, new interpretation of its central protagonist. It can also send a concerning message. The BBC doesn't believe that Doctor Who can win back fandom with Gatwa's incoming Doctor. No, it can, but it's going to be much easier with this. Because again, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor did a lot of freaking damage, right? Did a lot of freaking damage, right? And I think it was probably a bad idea, They probably, need to try and undo that damage. And falling back on its old tricks is a situation to restoring the show to its former glory. It's a little insulting to Gatwa it's insulting to Whittaker and Chibnall, right? Not to Gatwa and to the fans who have managed to survive every other regeneration. Yes, nothing's been like this, you ignorant, dumb cunts. Oh my god. This show has proven time and again it still has legs after replacing its protagonist, even after a bad run. Not a run like this, mate. Not a run like this. Everybody knows this, seemingly, except the BBC. This was Rusty Davies' choice. It's a coward's choice, as if refusing to put David Tennant in Whittaker's clothes, by the way. Refusing to put David Tennant in Whittaker's clothes, by the way. Yes, because she was shit! And we need to erase her from reality. Yes, she was absolutely awful. In the words of the first Doctor, our future is in safe hands. But a little too safe. No. I mean, again, after the wholesale destruction that was done to Doctor Who by you absolute blithering freaking morons, right? The wholesale destruction done to it. I think this was the smartest choice. I really do. Now, it only happened because of the watch-alongs, and otherwise I don't think it would have gone down. But I think it's something that it really, really needed, and is going to very much help the future of the show. I get over an hour this video. I guess we are not getting into the next article. I'll show you what it is. I'll show you what this article is that I thought I was going to read as well. Tegan's anger at the Doctor makes no sense. This is the same person who didn't understand the Seventh Doctor and Ace's relationship either. I guess I'll do this on a live stream, probably last night, right? If this is Wednesday, I probably did it on a live stream on Tuesday. It's the future for me, because I live in Monday, baby. Who knows, or dares to dream what the future will hold? You know and I don't. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.